Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. I'm with the Wolf, and this is obviously just general shared advice and not personal advice. And you're making me cough. Wolf, unfortunately, well, very fortunately for you, you're going on your long-awaited holiday now. It's quite a long one because you haven't had a holiday for about,
2 years.
About 3 months. So you really needed a break, didn't you?
Yes.
Right. So you're
I
going
need a
back
break from you, more like than anything else.
So you're going back to France because your wife's French. You're gonna eat some frog's legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully the weather's still nice for you in France.
Mm-hmm.
I just warn you. You know the French. Last time I was in France, there was an advert on the TV to the French people telling them they had to be nice to tourists because they need them for the economy. They're not the most friendliest, are they? Let's be honest.
They can be a little bit arrogant, right? But everyone can be a little bit arrogant. But I like the French for the fact that they stick to their guns. So at the end of the day, I actually like France overall, Dave. I'm looking forward to going. So you're not going to ruin it for me. Thanks.
So you're going from the nice food in France, right? It's got good food, right? And then you're going to eat porridge in Poland.
Porridge, please.
So how is that going to be going from the best food in the world to the worst food in the world? How's that? Isn't that going to be tough?
I'd say you're very misguided there, Dave. Porridge is the best ever. So I'm looking forward to it actually. So the two countries are very different in cuisine, but they're bloody good.
Okay, your Polish food? What, your beetroot soup? That's good. I've had the beetroot soup.
No, it's very varied. But anyway, it is quite heavy. And I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully, Wolf, I don't have to go to war.
Wolf, listen, you deserve a break, champion, and you're going to be doing some after the first 2 weeks. We're going to let you have a break. You're going to do a 1 week special on Friday. Is that right?
The first news to me. We'll see. Depends where I am.
All right, we're going to try and work on some specials.
But I will give you a 6 week special today.
Right, we'll try and work on that anyway. So make sure you take your computer with you.
Oh no, now I'm going to switch my phone off.
But not to worry. Claude Walker will be replacing you while you're gone. Claude, very famous for all his TV interviews. Wolf, he might not be. I don't know if he's a good analyst, right? But mate, he's better looking than you.
I don't mind. You can be better looking than me.
Yeah, he's better looking. Anyway. He's better looking than me too. Really, I'm not even going to show my face when I have him. We're just going to have Claude because he looks.
Fair enough.
All right. Now, not much to talk about. So we're going to go through some.
Obviously, with your rubbish that this morning you're talking about. Yes.
Okay, Wolf. Seriously, now you got to be serious. This is financial stuff.
Yes.
Now, James Hardy. What did you make of that announcement?
Oh, look, I did both. Just quickly through it. JHX and EVN announced two new CEOs fronting the company. Risky, of course. Changeover is always going to be one. Where does it go from here? We've seen them before, right? When a new CEO comes in, it could take a whole new direction. So we'll see. Look, the market's saying, yeah, we're happy with JHX.
All right. Okay, but both under trend, so they're not interesting for us now. Now, DGL came out with an announcement, Wolf. And obviously, if it goes below trend, we sell. But it's now Friday, and it's not just below water. It's somewhere near the bottom of the ocean right now, as I'm looking at it. Right. So we're going to have to revert really back to fundamentals on this one. And I had a look at other companies reporting on DGL. And I think the most interesting one that agreed with us was Canaccord. And they basically said exactly what we did. It's a very confusing outlook. But they've still retained their target price around $3, obviously believing that this is a complete overreaction. Likewise, UBS came out, and I think there's a bit of it didn't make sense, the UPS, so I'm not too sure what they're trying to say here on their valuation, if they put it at $2 or they put it at $4.20. So I think a little bit of a printing.
Well, it makes no sense them going from $4.20 to $2, right? Because that's what the FNRA says is they've cut target price from $4.22 to $2, and they've only cut the actual earnings down by 3 to 8% over the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, what? They've cut the price target by more than 50%, yet only the earnings by what, 2% or something? Makes no sense. So anyway,
and then down below they still leaves, it says still the target price is 420. So, but I think, okay, listen, it's just a lot better fundamentally than maybe where the share price is reflecting at the moment. Now,
at the end of the day, let's just set this straight, right?
Yeah, but Wolf, I want to explain price action to people, right? Because we've got an issue at the moment with this markets, because generally speaking, the markets are coming off. We are in a bear market. So what's happening at the moment? There's a lot of funds, a lot of big funds, and I know them, but I'm not going to mention them. They're basically shorting every stock across the market at the moment. And when a stock goes, they're hammering it even more. So the computerized trading is playing around with a lot of movements at the moment, right? So you've got to sort of try and understand that and not get too scared with some of these price movements, as long as the fundamentals are okay, right? So take it away, Wolf.
Well, look, fundamentally, let's call it how it is, right? So they've had a fantastic year this year, grown by over 100%. Let's say what they say is flattening growth, right? Let's take it at face value. Let's say flattening growth means zero growth. So FY23 will be flat. Revenue, bottom line, flat. No growth whatsoever. It's trading on 12 times, right? At current prices. Is it worth 12 times with no growth after have 100% growth? I think so. I mean, quite easily you can say definitely. So I think probably if you're taking the really bleak view, it's at the bottom of the ocean, like you say, right? And if there's any, I suppose, upside this year, then you can see a recovery of it. If it's more downside, then depends what the market's prepared to pay for this, because it's already cheap, 12 times. What else can it? How far lower can it actually go from here? But I think I think the downside from here is limited, for sure. Fundamentally, anyway, looking at it. So we'll see. I mean, it's a really strange sell-off on something that's, it's still a pretty good business overall, really, when you think about it. And look, to be honest, you don't see that too much. We've seen so much reporting this year, and we've seen companies come up with flat outlooks. They didn't drop by 50%. What the hell is going on with DGL, Dave? Unless there's something we don't know about still in there, right?
Yeah, I think it's what I've explained to you. So I've been talking to a lot of brokers out there trying to understand what's going on in the market at the moment, and I think it really is this increased whole group of funds which are just shorting the hell out of everything. I mean, there's some funds that literally have a short on everything at the moment, Wolf, and you've got also what you've got on top of that. You've got these automatic trades which are shorting stuff after falling certain levels. So it just becomes so. I think it's just making it a lot worse.
But I think, Dave, the disaster mitigation, right? So sometimes we do have disasters. So disaster mitigation in this case is to hold.
Yeah.
And see where we are in, say, 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see when you get back.
All
right. So DGL is a hold. MQG. Wolf, I'm going to let you go through. So there's a number of stocks that the brokers have come out with some just pretty interesting target prices. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the charts. Wolf's going to look at what the brokers have said on these stocks, and we can have a chat about them.
Yeah, well, we've got one. This is Morgan Stanley, Macquarie, and they are very bullish. They've actually upgraded the earnings for Macquarie and the price target going from 218 to 231, which is up there, Dave. So for me, you've got a fairly inexpensive story trading on about 17 times FY23 and a dividend yield of about 4%. So for me,
so have. Yeah, definitely. And the first two ones were for long-term stories as well, right? So I thought we could put these on a monthly chart and have a look at them. We know the market's going to get rocky. And really, Macquarie, when you look at that, it is arguably is a nibble now, and it's a nibble really down to this sort of 150 level. So between this sort of 170, 156, if it just gets rocky over October and September, this sort of area here, Wolf, just could be a nice little time to accumulate the story. And I think we need to start looking at those sort of stories now, Wolf. You know, you're going to be on the front line. You're going to be fighting. I'm going to be on the front line, the real front line, which is going to be the stock market over the next 2 months.
I know who's going to probably suffer more. You.
I know. Right. So you know, we've got to start looking at ideas. And Macquarie Group nibbling between this 176 to 156. Correct. I think for the long-term investor could be a good idea.
Okay.
Now the next one is SHL.
Yes.
So again, this is really a nibble territory here, Wolf. You can see that it has revisited past lower trend lines in the past, which is roughly around another sort of 15% lower than where it's trading, about maybe 20%. This is a company that actually announced very, very well.
Yeah.
Right. So no problems there.
No.
Good story. I don't believe it's too expensive either at the moment.
Oh, no, it isn't.
And I could argue you could even start your nibbling here. It is holding up on that monthly trend very, very nicely. Now, what's the target price on this, and who likes this one, Wolf?
Okay, so Morgan Stanley again, overweight for Sonic, and you know, the fact is these guys have got multi-million-dollar type budgets to research the hell out of these stories, right? They go into the Medicare numbers and everything else, right? So they've got all the resources in the world. So it's good to have a read on some of these stuff from Morgan Stanley's. So they basically say that July Medicare statistics showed COVID testing volumes are being maintained, and diagnostic imaging is showing early signs of recovery, according to Morgan Stanley. So they prefer this as the best play in this space. And it's reassuring. I mean, we've seen the report. I was a little bit nervous with the report when it was going to come out, but I was like, wow, this is actually very, very, very good. Without even the COVID testing, they still eked out a 2% growth, right, out of their standalone business. So I was very happy with that. But if the COVID testing is still looking pretty good, and it's normal diagnostic imaging is recovering, definitely nibble for me here. And they've got a price target of $38.60, which is up there, Dave. So again, looks pretty good for me.
Yeah, definitely good story. And again, this is really one for the long termers.
Yep.
Now, Wolf, we've got 3 other stories, but I'm going to have to go on to the weekly chart because they're not sort of big enough stories that for us to really be happy enough to look at them on the monthly. But again, these are stories that we saw the announcements were especially MP1. It was very, very good. I think turning EBITDA positive, correct?
I think it was
cash flow positive.
Yeah, that's right. Cash flow positive. That's right.
Cash flow positive. But it's you're starting to see the wheel turn, right? Now, this is an interesting one, because it's a pretty high target price, around $11. So talk us through it.
Yeah, look. So even though during the boom times, a lot of these brokers had price tag of 20 around that level. You know, they had to obviously reconfigure their own models, which is understandable, right? Like us. I mean, sometimes we go through our stocks and we're very happy with a lot of tech stocks, but things change, fundamentals change, and no one's going to be prepared to pay for those ridiculous multiples that people used to pay, right? So you have to rejig your models and say, okay, from 20, we need to see what the probable value would be in, say, 2 or 3 years' time. So it's still quite bullish, especially the sell-off, because the sell-off have been savage in a lot of these tech stocks. You know, $5 down to $6.91. I think at $6.91, it's incredible value considering they grew their top line at 40%, right? It's trading now under 10 times revenue, which used to trade on 20 times plus. And Macquarie says they just reviewed the technology under thing, and they one of the preferred stock picks in that space with an 11 price target, right? So they are very happy with this story. So are we, because we, like you said right at the start, they've turned the corner. You know, it's looking like a positive cash flow story now, possibly getting to the profitability in the next 2 or 3 years. But if they can maintain that positive cash flows, they won't have to go back to the well so many times like they used to do, right? So definitely a good story. Liking that global appeal to me as well. Yeah, I'd be looking at accumulate at the right at the right time. And I'll leave that to you. Fundamentally, I like it.
Yeah, and I think the way we do it is we're really, it's a contrarian play for us, a contrarian trend.
Yep.
It's not how we trend, but we'll just trend it off a daily. If we can get back over 765, start to swing, maybe that's when we'll get into it and look to take a little an easier run, Wolf, from maybe 875 to $11.
Okay.
And that could be obviously after the all the volatilities over the next 2 months. Interesting PRU. Was really interesting because this stock's had an absolutely, technically you just wouldn't buy that. It looks absolutely terrible.
It's all about the gold price, isn't it? The gold price has gone under $1,700, which is a key line, and that's not great for gold players out there.
It isn't, but that's a heavy fall, Wolf, isn't it? Where the gold price, could be volatile. But what's the target price on this one? And could this be a contrarian gold play if we see gold turn? That's my question, because you've spoken about this stock a few times, quite liking. You don't normally like stocks in Africa, but you have mentioned it before as a possibility.
As a trade, I've never fallen in love with the commodities space anyway, but a lot of these stories are going to be trades. So at least in Africa, it seemed to be trending still, even though in Australia that none of the gold players were trending, right? Probably because of the costs are much cheaper in Africa. But now with that falls, it's like you said, it's difficult technically to give it a wrap until we see gold probably trending again. But Citi says it's a buy for them with a $2.10 price target. So if it does turn again, then possibly you could look at PRU as another trade somewhere along the line.
Yeah, they're sort of suggesting, what sort of 40% upside, aren't they? If gold with the stock. So you know what, we'll put it on the watch list, and it definitely it is already one of our gold stocks anyway on the watch list.
Yep.
Wolf, the other one, S32. Now our sort of feeling is, and this is I'm sort of surprised. We're a little bit worried that China's slowing down, and I think again over news overnight, China have locked down another 21 million people. It's just crazy. I mean, don't they realize that actually
how to shoot yourself in the foot?
But why are they doing it? Don't they realize Omicron really isn't that bad? Like we all,
Right. It's very hard to change tack when you are so adamant and you're controlling the whole populace to just completely change your view all of a sudden, right? So how how autocratic, authoritarian type governments cannot change all of a sudden because they're going to look very weak.
Well,
I love stick to your guns now and look like complete idiots.
Well, Wolf, it's called self-denial, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It is. Unfortunately, they look like complete idiots by not.
Because people have put so much life and so much, so that the vaccines work, right? Self-denial. I'm not saying anything. It's very hard to actually say you're wrong. All right. So, but let's go on this S32, Wolf. I mean.
No, but the fact is that everyone lives with this Omicron anyway these days, right? So we
precisely. It doesn't matter.
China. No, there's a case. We're going to shut the whole city down. What the hell are they doing?
I love that voice when it goes high. Oh my God.
It's crazy, Anyway, so S32, right? So I am worried about China, of course, like you said. So that was a good premise to S32. And as a result, I'm actually just selling into this, even though Macquarie has an outperform. And a $5.60 price target, which is way up there, right? I'm worried. I'm worried that China is just going to completely disappoint, and it is disappointing at the moment. So unless they drop this draconian, ridiculous shutdowns every time there's someone farts almost, right, COVID out there, then this is going to continue. And unfortunately, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I think we're going to differ. And when you were saying, is it Wolf right or Macquarie? It's just one guy, Macquarie's opinion, right? That's what we've got to understand. One analyst.
Yeah, look, the thing is, this I don't mind seeing those outliers out there, seeing why they're so bullish, right?
Macquarie is more bullish than most people, though. Aren't they?
They are. And I like Macquarie as a.
Yeah. Oh, they're fantastic.
Look at stuff like that, right? But right now, you'd think to yourself, I'll be selling this strength because the other factors, like the China slowdown, the possible recessions, because the governments are actually driving the interest rates up to slow down economies. So it's just logically thinking, it's going to impact the commodity prices. And how do these entities do make the money on, higher commodity prices, which is not happening at the moment. It's actually going backwards.
All right. Now, maybe one more we can have a look at, because a little coal stock, not much trending at the moment, but this one is just struggling at the moment, Wolf, to go a little bit further. But interestingly, Morgan's, I've got to put a 55 cents target price on it. I think this, I would like to see it's over 40 by the end of the week. People are trading. I think if you're in it, then maybe still hold it.
Okay. To be honest, I don't know much about it. It says Bowen coking coal. So if it is the metallurgical coal, then maybe it doesn't have that same super appeal as the thermal
coal. Yeah.
So from that point of view, I'm probably thinking maybe WHC and HCs are better, but this is not a bad looking chart. It could do okay. Play the charts as per usual on this and see how it goes for you.
I just use the stop loss.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, come on, last thing. Let me.
Okay, Wolf, you're going away.
Yeah.
You're leaving us basically all alone.
Yeah, I know.
So you're going to give everyone a stock. But when you come back in 6 weeks,
yep,
it's going to make us all a fortune. So so that we can all have enough money to go on a big holiday like rich people like you. Not really. So we're only joking there. Obviously, we don't know if it's going to make you a fortune. It could lose your fortune. Yeah, but the stock is MEK. So
okay, the reason why I'm putting this one up. So I'm going for 6 weeks, right? So I want something that will have a lot of news flow during that time, and hopefully it will be good news flow, and you will see that price drive up. So the only one I can think of right now is MEK, and we saw it, right? We went through yesterday's results, and we looked at the actual next 3 months, what's going to happen, the progress. And September looks like it's going to be extremely busy for them. They're going to release more results from St. Anne's, Turnberry, updates. They're going to look at possible mining at one of these. So there's going to be a lot of news flow. Fingers crossed, it's going to be great. Don't worry about the gold price. This is all about the drilling results anyway. So if they come up with some really positive stuff, we could see this hopefully much higher than it is.
All right, Wolf, we won't hold you to that, but thank you very much for that. Now, we got live at 12 o'clock.
Yep.
We'll see you there.
All righty.
All right, thanks, Wolfie.
Cheers.
12 o'clock today. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Yep.